I've already done my perfect summer transfer window, but I think enough detail has come out that we can talk about what Ten Hag's perfect summer would shape up like. Because I really think there's quite a clear plan with the formation next season, with the players that we're going after. And I want to run through exactly what I feel Ten Hag's plan is for the perfect summer window. So give me 10 minutes of your time, if you would. Please drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it by the end of it. But let's talk about it. And let's talk. What I'm going to do in this video, right? I'm going to run through the stories. I'm going to run through every single position here. I'm going to add the players in that I think Ten Hag is working towards in a dream and ideal situation. Likely story is we don't get the perfect window because rarely does that happen. But if this is what Ten Hag is aiming for, and I'm also going to run through the tactical conversations as to why I think this plan is clear. This video, there's going to be a video in itself on how I think Man United's shape is going to change next season. But we are going to go from this shape here with a 4-2-3-1 really to going Casemiro deeper to playing with 2 number 8s and playing with a much higher defensive line. Therefore, there are a certain profile of players that we are looking at signing, and that's why I think the plan is clear. So if we go over here, I'm going to use the Athletics article today from Laurie Whitwell. Big up to Laurie Whitwell and the Athletic. I think they do great work, and I'm not paid or sponsored by them. I just think they do. He runs through the plans, and we all know who the first name on that list is, right? And it is Harry Kane. It's clear. It's absolutely clear now that Erik ten Hag, in an ideal world, would go right there and say, you know who my main striker is next season? Yeah. It's Harry Kane. And Man United are going after him, right? The question is whether or not Levy will sell. But I don't need to run into that because we've had that debate about whether or not he's worth 100 million, X, Y, Z, lots and lots of things. But when it comes to strikers, and this I would say is the interesting part, because that front three there, that is a very good front three. I don't need to tell you that. But Ten Hag wants more than that. And that's where the Rasmus Højlund stuff has come in, because we've talked about whether Højlund would be a Kane alternative. He's not a Kane alternative. He's a 20-year-old breakthrough player. You can't possibly expect him to be alternative. And it's not what Ten Hag is looking for. You can see the highlighted section down there. Ideally, Ten Hag would want a proven goal scorer and a young striker. Now, we didn't know whether Ten Hag was properly going to be looking for 2 strikers this year, but it's not the first time this has been mentioned. And that's why I think we can speak now with a bit of confidence about the plans of what Ten Hag wants. He wants 2 strikers. I don't think we're going to be getting Kane and Højlund, but if it's not Kane and Højlund, who is it? Is it Marcus Thuram on a free transfer with Højlund? That's an alternative. And there are loads of other strikers. You can talk about Gonzalo Ramos. You can talk about Dusan Vlahovic. You can talk about Victor Osimhen, who I think is just he's way out of our budget. He's way out of pretty much anybody's budget. But Rasmus Højlund is not being seen as the first choice number 9 for Manchester United next year. It's a young, up-and-coming striker who can develop and learn from the player alongside him. In an ideal world, in a perfect world for Ten Hag, that would be Harry Kane. That's the striking department discussed. Now, this second position here. So if we're switching to this 4-3-3, which I think we are, it doesn't suit Eriksen. It's way too dynamic a role for Eriksen now. Eriksen next season will be switching to coming on for the last 20, 30 minutes of games and controlling it, which is what I think he was always imagined with him, but we didn't sign Frankie de Jong. So Eriksen goes down. Now, you could say Fred could play that position, and he could. And I think he will next season. I don't think Fred's going to be sold. But you're looking at a starting 11 there. There's no other player inside that squad really who could operate. You could say that McTominay could do it, but not good enough for what Manchester United need. Now, you might argue that this lad doesn't, but Ten Hag wants him, and he wants him for that specific role. That's why we're going after Mason Mount, to play there and play in a 4-3-3 as the aggressive pressing midfielder with high energy, somebody who can add to the defence as well as add to the attack, somebody that can be relied on and can be consistent. In terms of the bid itself, we know full well that Man United have been preparing it, but I think it's quite interesting that we haven't put that bid in yet. We're talking with Chelsea. We're talking with Chelsea's directors. We know full well that they want 70 million. Honestly, you just have to laugh at Chelsea. You just have to laugh at them. They ruined the market with Abramovich when he came in and just spunked money left, right and centre. They're doing the same thing again now with Todd Bowley. It's just that the numbers are way more inflated. Same concept. They're ruining the market for everyone else, but good luck getting 70 million for Mason Mount. But that is why we are looking at Mason Mount, because from a tactical perspective, he comes in, drops right there, straight in the system that Ten Hag is working towards. And that's what I mean when I say you can talk about the plans, because you can see exactly where it fits in next season. Now, that's the striker talked about. So we can get Martial. I think in an ideal world, we sell Martial. You get Harry Kane up front. And if it's not Harry Kane, you've got Højlund coming in behind him. And if it's not either of those two, it's two strikers. Ten Hag wants two strikers. And I think we need two strikers this summer. And then you move on to the third position. So that's a new striker that you've got. You've got a new number 8. And the third position. Now, I'm going to speak about midfielders in a little bit, because at this moment in time, the Caicedo story is not really going anywhere. Declan Rice not really linked too heavily to him. A player that we link to far, far more is Kim from Napoli, who is a ball-playing, progressive centre-back. And it seems like, well, at this time anyway, I'm not kicking Varane out of this team, all right? I'm just explaining to you why Kim would come in there and be a fantastic defender for us. Only one player last season, see if you can guess who, was dribbled past less than Kim Min-Jae. Who do you reckon that was? You know exactly who that was. Wan-Bissaka. They are the top 2 defenders for tackling dribblers. Your Grealishes and your St. Maximans. They are the 2 best defenders at being aggressive and winning that tackle. And that's what Ten Hag needs when he plays this system. Because next season, I guarantee you, at the end of next season, might be wrong, I don't think it will be, Man United's defensive line will be significantly higher than it was last season. To do that, you need more athletic defenders. I'm not saying that Varane isn't athletic, but because of the injuries he's had over the last couple of years, realistically, you can predict that he will miss quite a bit through injury. So you're going to have someone like him to do that. And because of that, that then reduces the amount of pitch of space that Casemiro has to cover on his own, which he'll have to do if United switch to playing 2 more aggressive number 8s. I've got it all figured out in my head. I don't know what maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like. I think the fact that United really aggressively going after Kim, and if it's not Kim, we're now getting linked to Axel Disasi, the Monaco, who is a very progressive ball-playing centre-back as well. So in terms of this position, I think you put Min-Jae. How do you type his name in here? Jay? There he is. And then as a sub, you would have Varane, right? For Martinez, you know exactly who that sub's going to be. That's going to be Victor Lindelof. Sure, I suppose if you want to do a full squad here, you can do Malacia there. I reckon, as it stands, I think Wan-Bissaka is going to be our first choice. Might be wrong, but certainly ended the season as first choice. But in the first half of the season, it was Diogo Dalot. So at this moment in time, we don't particularly know. And then I would probably put Fred down as the alternative there for Mason Mount and for Bruno Fernandes. I mean, technically, you put Eriksen down there, but he won't play that. He plays deeper. You could probably put him down as an alternative to Casemiro, but he's not going to play the number 6 on his own. It's just if Eriksen was on the pitch, it would be to see a game out, so the formation would probably tweak a little bit. But then I think the curious part is that at this moment in time, United, as I said, we're really not. Well, look, we've been linked with Caicedo, we've been linked with Rice, but we're definitely focusing elsewhere. Strikers, that dynamic number 8. Now, you might say that Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice could fall inside that dynamic number 8, but they're not the same profile. They're proper box-to-box midfielders. They are top level. I think worth the money, but it's going to be a lot of money. Moises Caicedo is 80 million. Declan Rice, 90 million. I think Declan Rice is not a conversation. I think it's going to go much further because I think he's going to go Arsenal. I think it would be a brilliant signing for him. Caicedo, I think, is probably related to player sales more than anything. I think Ten Hag is prioritising the strikers, Mason Mount, and that centre-back ahead of signing that all-round midfielder. I think he'd love to have one, and in a perfect situation, you would probably put Caicedo there, not really as an alternative or like a sub to Casemiro, but that inside that role. That would be perfect for him. But I'll tell you who else we are looking at ahead of that, and that is a backup. Maybe not a backup goalkeeper. Somebody who, as Laurie Whitwell writes there, somebody to genuinely challenge David De Gea for his position as Man United's top goalkeeper. Now, you know what I think about that. I think United should actually be moving De Gea on, not renewing his contract, focusing our efforts on signing someone. But that's where the links with Bart Verbruggen have come in. because he is, if I'm correct, he's a Belgian goal. Is he a Dutch goalkeeper or is he a Belgian goalkeeper? I think he's a Dutch goalkeeper playing in Belgium. I think that's what it is. Anyway, this is a very small set of data, but it gives you a bit of an inkling into terms. He had a fantastic season last season, right? Crosses stopped there, 94%. He's a very commanding goalkeeper. He's a young goalkeeper. And he's somebody who would love to come to Manchester United and love to compete with David De Gea for that number 1 spot. So it feels like that's where United are going to be focusing our efforts in terms of a goalkeeper position. It won't be a Diogo Costa. It won't be a David Raya. It will be somebody who's young and has real potential. Now, you might just say that's Matic Kova, the young United goalkeeper who just won the league with Sparta Prague in Czech Republic. And I still need to do a video on that. I need to, if anybody knows a journalist I should be interviewing, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to find out some more information about him. But it feels like we're going to be going after someone like Verbruggen at this stage rather than Diogo Costa. And if you're looking up here and you're looking at subs up there, you're looking at Garnacho on the left wing. And let's put Sancho down on that right wing. That could be Ahmad instead there. But it feels like that's what Ten Hag's plans really are. Moving towards this formation, playing a higher line, that's why we're looking at Kim. Playing with 2 number 8s, that's why we're looking at Mason Mount. I don't need to tell you the reason why we're looking at a striker, because we need goals. Harry Kane is the best. That's why he's number 1. Højlund there is number 2. And Verbruggen there as a goalkeeper to actually offer genuine competition. It feels like that's what Ten Hag's plans are. And it feels like that's kind of the way we're going. Now, for a lot of you, you might say, I would rather we prioritise Caicedo or Rice or an all-round midfield signing rather than Mason Mount. And I probably tend to agree with you, because I think that midfield signing could really transform our midfield. But Ten Hag clearly sees that number 8 weakness in his squad, and that's a big and important thing here. He's signing players that he feels that he can't coach out of his current squad, the holes that he feels he needs to fill. Kim being one of them tells you about that high defensive line we'll play next year. Mount being one of them tells you that he doesn't trust or feel that he's got enough in the number 8 department. He feels like he's got enough a little bit deeper with Casemiro, but so much more is needed. I think that, if imagine Man United had that as a squad next year. De Gea with Verbruggen. Back 4 of Shaw, Martinez, Kim and Wan-Bissaka with Varane, Lindelof as your 2 centre-back alternatives. Casemiro and Caicedo. Dreamy. Mount with Fred. Similar sorts of profile there. I think they would probably do quite well in that position together. Bruno, Eriksen when you need him. And a front 3 of Rashford, Kane and Antony, with Højlund coming off the bench with Garnacho and Sancho, and Ahmed getting thrown into it as well. We can dream. Ten Hag can dream. Maybe this won't happen, but it feels like that's the plans for what Ten Hag is working towards. And I wanted to do a video on it. Did you enjoy it? Do you agree with me? You probably won't. Let me know in the comments below, as you always do. Make sure you subscribe to United People's TV. Love to have you on board.